Hello, everyone. My name is Sukhum, and I like to share live stream content. Welcome to another episode of the Sukhum Show. It's interesting because I used to say that so much. The intro that I do, hello, my name is Sukhum, and I like to share stories. And I realized I caught myself a few times in real life actually introducing myself like that. And the people that knew what I did, they had a good giggle and laugh. But others who had no idea what I do and why is this guy telling me he likes to share stories? Why is he repeating himself hello? And why does he need to tell me his full name? It was some awkward moments, I'll say that. But okay, getting it started. Anyways, welcome to another episode of the Sukhum Show. I live stream and I talk about random things. Well, not so much random, but rather I like to talk about social media things. I like to talk about business, and I like to share my craft, which is about personal development. What you can do to build yourself up and get better at that aspect of it. And of course, I like to share some stories. So Wednesdays has been some storytelling time, and I wanted to spend some more time on doing that too. So, before I get to that, I actually want to share a quote today, and I think it's quite fitting for today's story. And the quote goes, "You learn more from your failures than success, because failure builds character." Think about that for a moment. Alrighty, today's story actually ties quite a bit with that. In the sense of, I want to share my journey. I work for a company called Lululemon Athletica. I've been with the company 6 years, going on 7 right now. When I first started, I was a temp worker, and I busted my butt, and I was really putting a lot of work in, and I really love what Lulu offered. I came to Lulu at a time where I wanted to restart my life and build a better foundation for who I am and what I want in my future. Side story, I'll share this one day with you. I literally spent an entire year, before I came to Lululemon, I spent an entire year playing video games. I was playing World of Warcraft for a whole year straight, and I did nothing but eat, sleep, poop, and then wake up and do it all over again. So that was all I did for a whole year. Anyways, that's another story for another time. I share that with you because at a time in my life where that wasn't what I wanted to do, I really wanted to restart and reconnect with myself and build myself up. And day one at Lululemon, there was a big conversation regarding integrity. There was a big conversation regarding vision and goals and what do you want for your life 10 years down the road from now. And it sparked a lot of things for me, and I was like, man, this is awesome. So I busted my butt, and I was able to get hired on after like two and a half months. And here's the thing. What I want to share with you, this journey with Lulu, is about my failures at Lulu, and in specific to me applying to become a lead position. So how the position works is like you'll start as a temp worker, you'll get promoted or hired on as an associate, then you'll become a lead, and then you'll become a manager, and then a senior manager, and then a director of the building. Kind of like that's the basic flow of it. There's others, different positions that segues off, but that's the main gist of it. But I wanted to become a lead. I really wanted to run a team and really wanted to move up in the company. And I was super pumped up. I was doing a lot. And this is my journey that I want to share with you, because the reality, what happened was that I applied to become a lead 3 times. And I got denied, and I failed all 3 times. So this is my learning from it, and I want to share this with everyone too. In the very beginning, when I first applied for it, the I remember having some conversation afterwards with the leads and some of the managers and the time, and I was a top candidate to become the next lead. And actually, like a lot of the conversation came up, and a lot of people felt like, hey, Sukhum is definitely the next lead because with all the candidates out there, he's definitely someone like I have respect over, and I think he's gonna do an awesome job in it. And I was like, thank you, man. That felt good. And then here comes the director of the building, comes into the meeting and asks everybody, okay, who's the next lead? Who's the next candidate? And my name was brought up, and a lot of people felt that, I was a good candidate. And then he asked, well, how's his attendance? And there was dead silence amongst the entire group because I had some pretty bad attendance. And according to the director, he was like, I'm not promoting anyone who is having attendance issue. They're just not reliable, period. And that was the end of my first attempt at becoming a lead. I was pretty crushed. I was like, I get it. I struggle in this area, but I was so good in other areas, and that's something like I really carried with me for a little bit. I'm like, man, that sucks, and then I was in a slump for a little bit, and I just wasn't myself, and I was able to connect with a mentor, and he was able to coach me through things, and he supported me. He kept building me up, and he kept pushing me to get better and better. And the second time the lead position came up, it became an interview process where multiple people were now applying for it. And sure enough, I still didn't get that position. And what the conversation and feedback was to me was that, Sukhum, the first time you were like up here, top candidate, you had stuff you need to work on. But now, get it, you've worked on those things, but also the people around you has also elevated and they've gotten better as well too, where they felt like you stayed the same and you just worked on your attendance for that matter. I'm like, I was devastated. I was like, man, I put in so much work. I felt like I did more than that. I'm not being recognized for it. And it was just a slump for me again. I went into like probably a 2-month slump of like, I don't like it. I'm not happy at all. I was just in a bad place, And it wasn't until I was able to get back on track and reconnect again, and I transitioned to another department. I took on another role. I was working with that team closely, and I built more connection with them. And I started having some attendance issue again. I wasn't super bad, but I wasn't good either. And when the opportunity came up again, sure enough, I got passed over again because my attendance was an issue. Oh, the struggle is real, I got to a point where I wanted to give up. I didn't care about it. Just let me do my job. I don't really care about it. And then I started focusing on just building myself up. I focused on my health and fitness. I focused on my own development. And throughout this journey, I've been doing that. I felt like it just started clicking on me more. I had an opportunity to go to Landmark, and at Landmark really taught to me, like it spoke to me, and I learned a lot of great tools. I learned a lot of self-realization about why I'm constantly showing up late, I'm having attendance issue, why I'm being the kind of leader I am. So there was a lot of self-reflection from Landmark, and I was able to create some great conversation with my family, with some of the coworkers, even some of my bosses, and it was just really great. And I started with a different perspective. I started with what was possible for me, and I realized that what I can control is my own development. And I transitioned to another role with another department, and I was able to just be the leader I am at that moment and support the team to the best as I can. And lo and behold, the fourth time came around, and there wasn't any lead position. It was more like I've been a candidate for so long. I was able to get a ton of support from my lead at the time, and he did an awesome job just sharing everything that I've been doing with his manager, and that just got escalated up and up, and then my name came up, and it's funny though, like I believe the director at the time was still considering like, hey, how's his attendance? Isn't his attendance bad? Which since then I had perfect attendance for almost a year. Like I really worked on it, and I've gotten way better on it too. And it was a huge shift for a lot of people, especially in the leadership team, to see that. And I was pulled in, and they offered me a position to be a lead. And I was stoked. I was excited. I felt like, man, it's about time. I think that's what I said for a while. But a little, I still had a lot to learn and start reflecting. But that's a bit of the journey that I went through. And I wanted to share some takeaways from that too. That was 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I became a lead. And then I was able to move out here. A year after that, I was able to move out here to Ohio. And I continue to keep building on myself, continue to working on it. And now, like last September, I got promoted to being a manager. So that's been my journey so far within Lululemon Athletica. And some things that I want to take away from this would be the the learnings that constantly keep coming up is similar to some of the learnings we talk about in social media. The quote I shared earlier, you learn more from your failures than your success. Failure builds your character. Now, think about this, right? In social media, you talked about like, there's a big conversation about showing up. How's your attendance with showing up? Are you reliable? Does your audience able to show up and see you? That's definitely a takeaway. Did I wake up and show up? Today was rough. Like, I'm super tired, but I'm here. I committed to doing this. I am focused, and I want to continue because that will speak volume down the road. I compared myself to others. During this time frame, the first 3 years of me applying, failing, and just failing and failing, I saw like 10 other people came in after me. They got promoted to lead way before me. And every time I'm always in comparing mode. Why them? I was like, oh my God, like I could do that. I could be better than that, but I didn't self-reflect on that. And it's the same thing again with social media. Why are we comparing ourselves to people who has X amount of subscribers, X amount of views? Like we want to be like them. They shouldn't get this much growth. And I see even more with the people within your circle of similar subscribers rate. Like, I'm going to outcompete them. I'm going to outbeat them. Don't worry so much about other people. Just focus on you, and that will speak volume. So stop comparing to others, And the other thing that I found interesting, another takeaway. So the third takeaway would be, so one was showing up, two was comparing yourself to others, three is living into that role. So I didn't realize that a lot of people, by the time the fourth opportunity came around to become a lead, a lot of people shared with me, wow, I honestly thought you were already a lead. No offense, like the way you carry yourself. So I was living into that role. I was doing the things in terms of development, supporting others, and communicating with others. I was really living into that role already. And a lot of people, my peers, the people around me, recognize that. And sure enough, the same thing happened when I transitioned to a manager. A lot of people recognize, my peers, the people around me, all recognize that level of like, oh my God, like Sukhum's definitely putting in the work. Yeah, he does that definitely. I can see him in that next role. So living into that role, and that's what we're talking about, right? Your craft, whatever you're sharing on YouTube, whatever your story is, are you living into that? Are you practicing that on a daily basis? I'm so blessed and lucky that the company I work for gives me the opportunity to continue to work on my own development and share it with different people. And I just document it and then share it with you guys. So it's really some real life experience on what I'm doing. So I'm super excited for that. And that's just a blessing. But how are you fitting that into your work? How are you fitting that in your day-to-day if your craft is isn't something you can do at work, you know? So you've got to think about that. How are you living your craft? And the last two things, I have five. So the last two things would be the fourth one is when you fail, I almost feel like there's this period of a slump that comes in. You get disappointed, you get sad, you're just not there. My advice, just keep working on yourself and raise your self-awareness because you don't stay in that slump long. I've been in there 2-3 months to literally a couple hours and I'm out. So raising your self-awareness on that is huge. So definitely keep working on that one so that way you don't stay in the slump too long. And last of all, what I recognize from all this thing, from every single level that I've been in, from associate to lead to manager, the connection to people is real. Keep investing in people, and that is huge. Like I build such great relationship with people because I've invested the time to I invested the time to chat with them, to talk to them and get to know them, to challenge them on their vision and goals, to commit them to one-on-ones and their development. So that is something like I encourage too. So definitely for the last two, failing and slump in social media, if you are posting a video, no one looks at your video but one person, one is more than zero. Gary Vee says that too, and like it's actually true. One is more than zero. You keep working at it. You keep chipping away at it. One is more than zero. Keep putting in the work. Get out of that slump. Connection, that's the engagement part. In social media, are you engaging in communities? Are you engaging in other people's videos? I feel kind of guilty from time to time now when I'm watching a video, I'm driving or something like that, I'm just leaving the audio behind, then I don't get to comment on the video. So I feel guilty, man. Like that's something I wanna at least practice. Like, hey, I spent the time to watch the video. At least I want to make a comment, a thank you, hey, great video or something, you know. But connect, get that engagement going on too, you know. So, all right, thank you for listening to my story. That's been my journey so far. I'm super excited for what's to come next. I've been just humbled and blessed by where I'm at and the opportunity for the social media aspect, for the business, and then keep building my personal development and keep sharing these things with you guys. And I get to practice it daily with the people I work with. So again, super humbled, super blessed with that. I'm excited to see where this goes in the long run, in the future with it too, you know. Cool. Last two things that I want to share with you. It is 17 minutes in. Hashtag Ultimatum, day 10. Man, I am beat. Like, I did not want to run today at all. I got my workout clothes. I went on the treadmill and I made a commitment this week to run under 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to run and I don't want to run under 10 minutes either, but I made a commitment. I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, you've got to do it. You've got to push. And I did. I came in 9 minutes and 40 seconds for my 1 mile. I posted up on Twitter, in the Facebook community group. If you guys are doing the challenge and you guys want to check that out, or if you just want to check it out and support and maybe jump in and do your own challenge and just get out there and do a mile at least every single day if you can. So I would love that. So keep doing it. If you are doing it, the Ultimatum challenge, having some fun with that too. Last thing would be tomorrow, I'll be focusing on one of the development tools that I've learned. It's actually from Brian Tracy. And he talks about the concept between we have the answer to every single question that we can pose. And I think I spoke about this in the previous video, but not the previous video, but another video. But it's so true. If we think and ponder and just really meditate on it, we can come to our own answers. So what I want to do tomorrow is go through this exercise. I'll figure a way where either I can use the blackboard behind me or the whiteboard I have to write and show you guys, because the intention is I'll pose a question to myself that I haven't really dig into, and we can go through this exercise together. So as a live stream, I really don't know how this goes. I do feel that if you think about it, this exercise can really extend quite a bit. because some of us aren't used to challenging our brain and really asking questions like why, and just keep digging and drilling. And this is going to be challenging for a lot of people. They're like, I'm stuck, I quit. So I'm going to dig into it further. It's just like you've got to block off a time to do this and really commit it from beginning to end if you really want to see the impact that it has on this exercise for you. So super excited for that one. But yeah, join in tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you can. I'm excited for it. I'll be looking forward to that. And then last of all, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Wednesdays, I like to share some stories of everything that I've learned, some journeys. I'm taking a switch from just sharing random stories with the moral behind it. I want to start sharing my experiences, my journey, just to see a different vibe from it too. So more to come on that. Other than that, I'll be talking about social media, mainly YouTube and Facebook right now, since transitioning and learning Facebook. Twitter, I'm on there. Instagram, I still haven't I have my account on there, but I haven't been active on that one. There's some things that I want to work out first and then really dive into it. I'm being patient with the way I'm doing social media just because it can be really overwhelming, and I'm just moving it from one platform to another and getting a better grasp of it, and also building the community there and connecting with communities there authentically and organically. So that's a big one. And business, I actually haven't really shared anything business on the channel, but I've done a lot behind the scenes. Like, I'm not going to share too much, but like I've been putting a lot of work with a couple of things beforehand, some collaborations, a lot of research on next steps, how to market, how to really build it, what am I selling. If I'm selling, I am going to be selling something down the road, but I don't foresee until later down, but more likely in terms of like, am I going to write a book? An ebook? Am I going to be selling a course? Like I'm going to be in motivation and inspiration. So that's going to be the route that I'll be focusing on. Am I consulting? Am I doing one-on-one with people? Am I doing businesses? How am I creating culture? That's going to be a lot of different things that I'll be branching out and collaborating with a lot of people. So super pumped, super excited. But yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll see me live streaming at you. So thank you. I appreciate your time and patience. Until next time, this is Sukhum Hing signing off, The Sukhum Show. Take it easy.